Hello, friends. I hope you're all doing well. For those of you who don't know, I write on Medium, and you can find me at AP Donovan 1990 or Andrew P. Donovan. I've got a catalog of things that I've written in the past, most of them to do with parenting. And that's what I want to share with you today. It's an article that I'm going to publish this afternoon. It's called A Message to Parents: Rely More on Your Instincts. So I'll read it for you, and then I have some commentary at the end, plus a video that I filmed with my daughter yesterday. The older I get, the more I rely on how I instinctually feel about things to tell me whether or not that thing is good or bad, right or wrong. Take parenting, for example. There are a million parent bloggers and influencers out there, and hundreds of pedagogies that swear up and down that what they're saying is the truth. It's difficult to parse through all that information and come to a definitive truth. And this isn't just a problem with parenting. It's happening everywhere as we all have access to more and more content and ideas. All this information is enough to make you doubt your instincts. Worse yet, it can make your instincts feel like insanity because your instincts are so far removed from what the modern world sees as normal. It's for this reason that I'm leaning more and more into those instincts. Here's what I mean. Yesterday, after supper, I took my daughter on a walk. We came upon a small stream and waterfall surrounded by rocks and sticks. Such a discovery, for a toddler, is the equivalent of you, an adult, stumbling upon a gold mine. For an hour I stood there, watching her do her thing. She jumped from large rock to large rock. She set leaves sailing down the stream, telling each one, "Bye, see you later." She threw rocks, some as big as her head, into the stream. The bigger the splash, the more excited she got. In between her adventures, she'd stop to make comments about her environment. "Oh, this plant's spiky. A mourning dove. Leaves are changing. Dada, find me a big stick." Each comment and question was a chance to talk about the changing seasons and the plants and animals that live among us. Sure, it was play, but it was more than that. It was also learning about the world and herself. Because we had no plan or nowhere to be, I just enjoyed watching her throw, run, and jump in nature. Reflecting upon our evening, I left it feeling that that was right. Like that's how a child should be spending their time. Exploring the world around them, free of distractions or places to be, or adults telling them to hurry up. The experience of the modern child is so far removed from such simplicity. Children are chronically overscheduled with extracurriculars and saddled with a shocking amount of homework. Again, if we tap into our instincts, does it feel right that a child spends the majority of their waking hours being shuffled from class to class, only to go home and be shuffled to more planned activities before ending with homework that's meant to be done for tomorrow's shuffling? I say no. If a child shows up to school at 9 a.m., leaves by 3 p.m., does an after-school activity for an hour, and then does an hour of homework, that's an 8-hour day, not including the time it takes to get to all of those places. When do they get a chance to just be a child? And don't say, that's what weekends are for, because weekends are chronically overplanned as well. What feels right to me is that every child under 13 ought to spend most of their day exploring the world, playing with friends, reading, and doing activities that speak to their innate interests. But that's just me. I realize this opinion is so foreign to the modern world that it may seem insane or old-fashioned or out of touch. That's fine. But for a select few reading this, I know there's a message in here that's resonating with your soul, with what you feel. To all of you, here's a reminder to lean into those instincts, no matter how outlandish they may seem in our current context. So that's the article. And what was interesting about this thought that I had, right? I was having these thoughts, and then I post a video, the one that I'm going to share at the end of this video, to my Instagram. And my Instagram's private, so there's no point in me sharing that with you. I shared it, and then I got a lot of likes and comments from people saying, I could have watched her do that for an hour, or oh my goodness, I wish this video was longer. And when I'm thinking these things and people come back to me with their thoughts that kind of confirm what it is that I'm thinking, it's in that moment that I know I'm on to something. I know that I've struck a nerve with something that people are feeling without my influence of my whatever it is that I'm writing or whatever YouTube video I'm putting out there. That there was something about what I was letting my daughter do that was correct. That's how a child should be spending their time, and we all kind of know it if we don't lie to ourselves. And here's the thing with instincts, right? I had an instinct as a father in some of those moments. She's around a creek, she could fall 5 feet into water and stone. She's hopping between gaps and rocks that are, substantial for someone that's just over 2 years old. She's throwing rocks that are as big as her head that can, maybe it falls out of her hand and lands on her foot and breaks her foot or whatever. I have an instinct to intervene and to keep her safe. And sometimes I do. If I feel that she's leaning too far over the edge and she's about to fall, I remind her to be mindful. I say, kiddo, you're leaning pretty far over. Be mindful of your body and where you are and what dangers are potentially around you. But only when I need to. And if I really need to, then I'll put my hands on her and bring her back. There's another instinct I was fighting. It was getting late. We were out later than we were meant to be, and that's going to make bedtime more difficult because she's going to be more tired and we have to still, brush teeth, take a shower, floss, put on pajamas, all those things. But I fought those instincts because I thought, no, she deserves this time outside right now to just enjoy herself. And I wasn't unreasonable about those instincts that I was feeling to help her or to go home. We still went home at a pretty reasonable hour. We only got to bed like 10, 15 minutes later than we normally would. And she didn't get hurt. But I just hope that what I'm saying here, ultimately, whether you agree with all of it or parts of it or maybe even just none of it, is that you can at least acknowledge that when you're a parent or when you're navigating this world, that there's just things that feel true and right and just. And that you don't ignore those because society, the modern culture that we live in, is just so out of touch with those instincts. That's my hope here. Please let me know if anything that I've said today has resonated with you and how you use your instincts to be a better parent. Thanks for watching, and please do, if you're still with me here, subscribe to my writing on Medium. And now here's the video that I want to share with you of what my daughter was doing. Take care, guys. God bless.